Hi everyone, so in this video I'm going to talk about the 3 new series that I've started recently in Jump, in Weekly Shonen Jump, as well as I'll be showing you the last chapter of Reborn, Katekyo Hitman Reborn by Akira Amano Sensei. So first off, let me show you that chapter of Reborn. This is volume 50 of Weekly Shonen Jump, 2012. Yeah. Katekyo Hitman Reborn started in 2004, has been running since then, and has finally ended. Yeah. So colour pages. It's fine, all colour pages. In the middle. So we have Sunar Reborn here, as well as all the characters that feature, not all, but most of the characters that feature in the actual manga series. When this series actually started, it started out as a gag manga, but it later developed into a more action-oriented manga. It still contains some gag elements to it, but it was still a really good series. Maybe not the best, but it was still decent. A fun read. So yes, those are the colour pages. Then just the chapters. Many people have complained in the past, I've read online, that many fans, many people who read Jump, Weekly Shonen Jump to be exact, have complained that the way that Akira Amano Sensei actually draws her chapters, or the action scenes, are kind of draw it in a way that's hard to either understand or imagine for themselves. And of course they would leave some abusive comments. But I've particularly found this series quite enjoyable. When it started, you kind of know that it's not going to be a long series like One Piece or Naruto. But yeah. I personally think she could have done one more arc. Like, there was a few things that she could have added to make it tie up nicely. Like, the way that she ended this arc was a bit too convenient, I personally think. Suna could have struggled a little bit more. They came up with an answer to the solution almost too easily. Of course, they had a fight at the end, but after that, the answer came way too easy. And that's it, that's the last one. And here she gives her notes, thank you for supporting us, series. And that's it. That's for Katekyo Hitman Reborn by Akira Amano Sensei. Now I'm going to talk about a new series. First one is Hungry Joker. This series came out in this volume, so volume 50. And to be honest, I prefer the one-shot. The one-shot, the plot was really good. The idea, I should say, was a very good idea. But the one-shot did lack a few things. Like, I could not imagine it being a very long series. Maybe a short series, like maybe lasting like a year or two. No, not a year or two, but just a couple of years. But not a very long series. But when I read the chapter in this volume, the new chapter, chapter 1, the storyline, the plot has completely changed. It's nothing like the one shot. I don't even know why they call it Hungry Joker anymore. So yeah, let's have a look at it. That's the first colour page. This series is by Yuki Tabata Sensei, and this series, well, the one-shot I should say, won the Golden Future Cup of 2011. So it was a good candidate for serialization. To be honest, I don't know why it didn't get serialized sooner. But yeah, this is like set in the present, whereas the one-shot was set like in a weird twisted future where monsters took over the world and things like that. But this is set in the present, nothing's taken over the world, at least not from the first chapter. The artwork is good. The plot at the beginning of this chapter was a bit slow to develop, and I did find it quite boring until it got to a point towards the end when the main character meets the bad guy and a fight ensues. That fight I found was pretty epic, and if Tabata Sensei can keep that level of interest in the manga, in this series, then this series could go a long way. But to be honest, of course it all depends on the people who vote for this series, but I personally think that this series won't last very long. Maybe a year or half a year, but no longer. The first ranking of this series has already come out, and it ranked 11th in the latest volume of Weekly Shonen Jump. That's that chapter done. I don't have the volumes 51, 52 to show you the other new manga series, but I can talk about them. So the next series that came out after Hungry Joker was Shinmai Fukei Kiruko-san. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly, so I'll just call it Kiruko-san. That series came out in volume 51 of Weekly Shonen Jump, 2012 edition, and it's written by, the author of that series is Masahiro Hirakata Sensei. And when I read that, it did strangely remind me of Katekyo Hitman Reborn. It was a gag manga. The artwork was, well, not the best, but it fits the story very well. And that series is about a mercenary who joins the police force in Japan, and that mercenary goes overboard in arresting or subduing criminals. Then the next series that came out was in volume 52, and that's called Shokugeki no Soma, and the storyline is done by one person and the artwork is done by another, and the writer is Yuto Tsukuda, and the illustrator or the artist for that series is Shun Seiki, or obviously known as Tosh. He's an ero mangaka. If you don't know what ero mangaka is, then I guess you're pure or you're just naive, but either way, he's an ero kind of mangas, quite ero or ecchi mangas. So he's had a lot of experience actually, I think. And well, it shows in his artwork. If you read the first chapter, the artwork is pretty good. And very ecchi. That manga series is to do with cooking and, well, like I said, has quite a lot of ero parts in it, or quite a lot of ero elements in it. That series, in a weird way, could go a very long way. Can last a very long while in this magazine. Of course, whether any of these series do last in this magazine all depends on the votes they get. I guess that's all I can really talk about. Maybe I can show you this volume in detail. Call it a volume 50 review. So this is a poster of Kuroko no Basket. Some volumes of Weekly Shonen Jump you do get posters, some of them you don't. Sometimes you get items like Yu-Gi-Oh cards or posters that you can literally take out. Or once there was, I think, like a One Piece newspaper, Co-News or something like that. So yeah, I already showed you Hungry Joker. This is Assassination Classroom. That's a quick look. This is an awesome series. If you haven't read it at all yet, I advise you to have a go. One Piece. This is a pretty old volume now. Well, a couple of, maybe a month or two. No, a month old maybe. This is another very popular one. Unfortunately, there's very few scans of this manga online. It's very popular in Japan, and I have to admit, I've read a few of the chapters, and I find it really interesting. Or very funny, I should say. Nisekoi. Missed any? Same Nisekoi. Rets. Date Senpai. This is also another gag manga. And then color page for Kuroko no Basket. Yeah. Naruto. Toriko. Skate Dance. Haikyuu. Reborn, I already showed you. Beelzebub. This is Gintama. Yeah. Yeah, Gintama. Then these are just some advertisements and notices and whatever. Then Bleach. Oh, that's one thing I should say. I think either this year or later this year, Bleach and maybe Naruto also will probably end. Or maybe towards the beginning of next year's Weekly Shonen Jump editions. Because, well, Bleach, of course, now as the series has started to get more interesting again, the rankings for Bleach is starting to increase, which is good. Of course, it's good. But it does seem like this will probably be the last arc. We finally see the Soul King. So yeah, for Naruto as well, I think will be the last arc. Kochikame. Okay, this is one thing that many people have discussed online. Is Kochikame included in the rankings? And the answer is yes. The reason why people think that it's not included in the rankings is because no matter what happens to this manga series, even if it's dead last, it will never be cancelled, because it's probably the longest running series in shonen manga history, in any magazine. This guy is like probably, I think, 85 years old or something like that. Well, he's pretty old. I'm not sure exactly how old, but he's been doing it since his late 20s, I think, and he's been going on forever. Actually, no, he's around 60. Yeah, 60. Oh, I did say 80. But yeah, because it's been in this magazine for so long, they won't cancel something like this. And anyway, it's a really good series. That's the reason why people think shouldn't be included in the rankings. But the truth is, if we go back here to the beginning, where is it? Kochikame is right here. See, it's included in the rankings. So people do vote for it. So if it's voted, if people vote for it, therefore it's included in the rankings. It's included in the polls. And therefore, it's ranked. Medica box. This series looks like it's going to be in danger of getting cancelled. It's been, not dead last, but in the bottom 5 for quite a while now. And as well, this one looks like it's going to be cancelled, maybe cross-manage. This is also, well, not a new series, but came out a couple months back. It's an interesting series, but I don't think it's really Jump material. Probably would have done better in a magazine. Yeah, Weekly Shonen magazine, that is. Maybe even Weekly Shonen Sunday. And this is Kurogane. This is another good series, but unfortunately, guess people aren't voting for it because they don't find it interesting, and that's also looking in danger of being cancelled. But I think maybe the editors will allow this last arc to finish before letting it cancel, or before cancelling it. This one, I think it's Kochikame, is it? Yep. And then that's it. The end. Oh, table of content. And the end. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I didn't really plan on doing the volume 50 review, but there we are. Like I was saying before, it's quite sad now that Katekyo Hitman Reborn's finished, but unfortunately all series have to end eventually. Hungry Joker looks okay, the artwork's not bad, but I personally think it's not the best series. The next series that came out, like I said before, was Kiruko-san. That's a gag manga, okay, but again, all depends on the votes. And Shokugeki no Soma, about cooking, has elements to it. It has the best artwork out of the new series, and I think it'll probably last quite a while. Anyway guys, thanks for watching.